You can use the Open Response Assessment task with no staff assessment step. For example, you can allow students to perform a self-assessment. In this case, the grade they will put for themselves will be their final grade. You can also use the peer assessment. In this case, the students will get a final grade that is going to be median based on the assessments performed by other learners. If you plan to include a peer or self-assessment steps, activate the Learner Training step in Studio. Add one or more sample responses together with the scores. Later, your learners will review the responses and try to grade them without seeing the scores you've put. That way, they will learn how to assess the responses. In the peer assessment step, the learners review the responses of other students in the course. You should specify the number of responses that each learner must assess and the number of peer assessments that each response must receive before the step is considered complete. You also need to specify the starting date and time for this step and a due date and time for it. For the self-assessment step, you also need to specify the start date and time and a due date and time. If an open response assessment includes the peer and self-assessments, but no staff assessment, like we do have now, only the peer assessment score counts towards the final score for the assignment. Save the changes and publish the unit. Now in the LMS below the response field, we can see the additional steps. Once the student submits the response, he or she is suggested to perform a training step. The scores the learner puts here should match with the scores you've entered in Studio. Once this condition is fulfilled, he or she can get to the next step. According to our settings, the peer assessment step requires our students to grade minimum 3 essays. If there are no responses in the system, the student will have to wait for other students to submit their essays first. At this step, you just need to estimate the suggested responses. If you want, you can keep estimating essays by returning to the peer assessment step anytime and clicking Continue. The next step is to grade personal response. Just pick a grade for yourself. Since we need at least one student to grade our response, we have to wait till it happens. Once some other student grades this response, our learner will finally see the score and get an opportunity to leave a feedback for the staff members. The final score for the task will be also available on the progress page. Once again, it is a median value based on all the assessments the students did. If you activate all the steps of this task, your students will have to submit a response, then complete a training, estimate other students' essays, make a self-assessment, and wait for the staff member to do the grading. Let's go through all those steps once again in the LMS. We are submitting the response, learning how to grade the task, estimating essays of the other students, and our own work, and now we have to wait on a grade from the staff member. As an instructor, you need to go to the unit and grade available responses. As usually, you can also check the statistics and information on any of your students. That is the learner's response itself, the score he or she have received from the other student, the peer assessments the user did, a self-assessment record, the grade provided by the staff member, and the final grade. Here you can also change the score if needed, or delete the response. And back to our student. All the steps had been done, and there is a good score from the other student, and only 20 points from the instructor. And that is actually the final grade that is reflected on the progress page. Once you activate the staff assessment step, only the staff grade is taken into the consideration.